My parents said my daughter wasn't invited to Thanksgiving because we don't need another distraction. So I hosted my own. Half the family showed up at my place. Instead, and by midnight, Mom showed up crying. Sup, Reddit. My parents told me 2 weeks ago that my 7-year-old daughter wasn't invited to Thanksgiving because she was too much of a distraction. So I cooked dinner at my place. An hour into their perfect meal, my relatives started showing up at my door. By the time dessert rolled around, I had 9 people in my living room, and my parents had maybe 4. At midnight, my mother pulled up crying with a photo album. But I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm Jake, 32 male, and I'm an electrician in the Chicago suburbs. I pull in around $73,000 a year, which is decent money. I own a small 3-bedroom house in Naperville that I bought 5 years ago for $287,000. I've got a daughter named Lily, who just turned 7 in September. She's got blonde hair, freckles, and more energy than a power plant. She's also the entire reason I get up in the morning. Here's the thing, though. I'm doing this solo. My wife Jessica died 3 years ago in a car accident. She was driving home from her sister's place on a Tuesday afternoon when some kid texting and driving blew through a red light at 60 miles per hour. She died instantly. Lily was 2 years old. I had to learn how to do ponytails, pack lunches, and explain why mommy wasn't coming home. You know, typical 29-year-old stuff. My parents are Richard and Linda. Dad's 64, retired from some middle management position at a pharmaceutical company. Mom's 62, never worked, spent her whole life being a homemaker. They live in Wheaton in this big colonial house they bought in 1991. 4 bedrooms, finished basement, the works. Probably worth around $520,000 now. They're practical people, not huggers, not the I love you types. They show affection by fixing your sink or sending you a check when your transmission dies. After Jessica died, they sent a casserole, one of those disposable aluminum pan jobs from the grocery store deli section. It came with a card that had a generic message about thoughts and prayers during this difficult time. The kind of card you grab from the rack without reading it. That was it. No phone calls, no visits, no, hey Jake, how are you holding up? No, can we take Lily for the weekend so you can breathe? Nothing. I figured they were processing it their own way. Grief makes people weird. I gave them space. I had a 2-year-old to keep alive, and my own head was barely above water. I didn't have the energy to manage their emotions too. But here's where it gets interesting. I've always been the dependable kid, the one who shows up when called. My brother Brandon is 2 years older, married to this woman Vanessa, who works in pharmaceutical sales and never shuts up about her company's latest product launch. They don't have kids. They have dinner parties with cheese boards and wine pairings. They vacation in Napa Valley. They're my parents' pride and joy. Me? I'm the spare, the backup, the one who gets called at 11:47 p.m. on a Saturday when Dad's car won't start in a restaurant parking lot. The one who drives 40 minutes in January to reset Mom's Wi-Fi router because she can't figure it out. The one who helped Brandon move furniture up 3 flights of stairs when he bought his condo, then never got paid back the $200 for pizza and the U-Haul rental I covered. I kept a spreadsheet of every time I helped my family over the past 5 years. Started it 2 years ago when I realized I was starting to feel used. It's got 47 entries. Everything from fixed Mom's garbage disposal, 2.5 hours, to drove Dad to orthopedist appointment when his knee was bad, took personal day off work, lost $284 in wages. The thing that really gets me? The total at the bottom, 214 hours. That's over 5 full work weeks I've given to people who couldn't be bothered to check on me after my wife died. Some highlights from the spreadsheet. February 2022. Rewired Brandon's basement when he was finishing it. 8 hours on a Saturday. He paid the contractor $3,200 for the job, but didn't pay me anything. Said family doesn't charge family. Meanwhile, he'd charged me $600 to consult on my home office setup the year before. July 2022. Mom's central air died during a heat wave. 94 degrees outside. I drove over at 6:30 a.m. before my shift, diagnosed the problem, drove to 3 different supply stores to find the part, came back and fixed it. Took 6 hours total. She made me a sandwich, white bread and deli turkey, didn't even offer to pay for the part, which cost me $187.43 out of pocket. November 2022. Dad needed help moving furniture from the garage to the basement. Called me on Thanksgiving morning. Yeah, Thanksgiving morning. I went over at 10 a.m., moved a couch, 2 dressers, and a bunch of boxes. Missed half of Lily's morning because she wanted to watch cartoons with me. When I got back, she asked where I went. I told her Grandpa needed help. She asked why Grandpa didn't help me when Mommy died. I had no answer for that. April 2023. Brandon's car broke down on the highway at 11:47 p.m. on a Tuesday. He called me, not a tow truck. I drove 35 minutes to get him, waited with him for AAA, drove him home, got back to my house at 2:13 a.m., had to be at work at 6 a.m. I was running on 3 hours of sleep and downed 4 energy drinks that day just to function. He texted me, "Thanks, bro," the next afternoon. Never mentioned it again. Every single time I showed up, every single time I dropped what I was doing. And when Jessica died? Radio silence. Let me break this down for you. This past year has been the worst for the distance between us. January. Lily's 6th birthday party. I invited my parents. They came for 30 minutes, didn't bring a gift, left before cake, said they had prior commitments. Found out later from Brandon they went to see a matinee showing of some movie. Not an emergency, not a doctor's appointment. A movie they could have seen literally any other day. When Lily asked where Grandma and Grandpa went, I told her they had to leave early. She asked if she did something wrong. She was 5 years old asking if she was the problem. I told her no, they just had somewhere to be. But kids aren't stupid. She knew. March. Lily had a spring concert at school. She was singing in the front row, this big solo part in some song about butterflies. 2 lines, but she practiced them for 3 weeks straight. Sang them in the car, in the bathtub, at bedtime. She was so proud. I texted my parents the details 3 weeks in advance. Sent a reminder 1 week before. Sent another reminder the day before. They didn't show. Not even a text saying they couldn't make it. Just ghosted. When I called Mom after and asked why, she said, "Oh, honey, we forgot. We had that thing with the neighbors. The neighbors. The people they see literally every week. Took priority over their granddaughter's first solo. April, Easter. Mom invited us to brunch at their house. Said it was important to have family together. We showed up at 11 a.m. like she asked. She'd made this big spread. Ham, scalloped potatoes, rolls, fruit salad. Brandon and Vanessa were already there. Vanessa immediately started talking about some conference she went to in Denver. For 45 minutes straight, Mom hung on every word, asked questions, looked fascinated. Lily tried to tell Grandma about a book she was reading at school. Mom said, "That's nice, sweetie," without looking at her. Literally didn't make eye contact. Just kept watching Vanessa talk. We left at 1:30 p.m. Mom didn't notice we were gone until I texted her at 3 p.m. saying thanks for brunch. June. Father's Day. I took Lily to their house, brought a card she'd made with crayon drawings and handprints. She'd written, "I love you, Grandpa," in her messy kid handwriting. She was so excited to give it to him, practically bouncing. Dad opened it, said, "That's nice," and set it on the counter. Didn't read the inside, didn't comment on the drawing, just set it down like it was junk mail. When I went to get napkins from the kitchen 20 minutes later, it was in the trash. Face down, right on top where I could see it. Not even buried, like he'd thrown it away immediately after we left the room. I didn't say anything. I grabbed that card out of the trash, wiped off some coffee grounds, and took it home. It's in a frame in Lily's room now. She doesn't know I rescued it. July. Lily asked if she could have a sleepover at Grandma and Grandpa's house. Her friend Mia from school had a sleepover at her grandparents' house and came back with stories about making cookies and staying up late watching movies. Lily wanted that. I called Mom to ask. She said, "Oh, Jake, we're not really set up for that. We don't have the right things for a child. Maybe when she's older." They have a 4-bedroom house. 3 of those bedrooms are empty. They have a TV in every room. They have a kitchen full of food, but they're not set up for it. September. Lily's 7th birthday. Another party. This time they didn't come at all. Mom called 2 hours after it started and said they were under the weather. Her voice sounded fine. No cough, no congestion, just under the weather. I said okay and hung up. Saw Brandon's Instagram story that night at 8:47 p.m. He was at their house playing cards with them. All 3 of them looking perfectly healthy. Brandon's holding a beer. Mom's laughing at something. Dad's shuffling cards. The timestamp said 7:32 p.m., right when Lily was opening presents at her party, asking where Grandma and Grandpa were. I screenshotted that story, saved it to my phone. I don't even know why. Maybe because I knew someday I'd need proof that I wasn't imagining this. October. School was doing Grandparents' Day. Lily asked if Grandma and Grandpa could come. She'd been talking about it for 2 weeks. Made them drawings. Wrote them invitations in art class. I called Mom to ask. She said, "Oh, Jake, that's really not our thing. You understand." I asked what she meant by not our thing. She said, Sitting in those little chairs, all those kids running around. It's just not for us. I told her it was 1 hour. 1 hour out of her entire week. She said she'd think about it. Never called back. I told Lily they were busy with doctor appointments. She cried for an hour. Asked if they didn't like her. I told her of course they liked her. But I don't know if I believed it anymore. The thing is, they're not busy. They're retired. They play golf on Tuesdays and Thursdays. They go to church on Sundays. They have dinner with their friends the Mitchells every Friday at that Italian place on Roosevelt Road. They go to the movies on Wednesday afternoons when tickets are cheaper. They have time. They just don't want to spend it with us. With Lily specifically. Because Lily reminds them of Jessica, and dealing with that is apparently too hard. Easier to just pretend we don't exist. Picture this. It's November 8th, 2024, 7:23 p.m. I'm making Lily mac and cheese for dinner, the box kind with the powdered cheese she likes. My phone rings. Mom's name pops up. She never calls. We text maybe twice a month, and it's usually me texting her. I answer. No small talk. She gets right to it. Jake, I wanted to let you know about Thanksgiving this year. I'm thinking, okay, what time should we arrive? Should I bring something? Normal Thanksgiving planning stuff. She continues. We've decided to keep it small this year. Just adults. We're looking for a more peaceful dinner, more intimate, less chaotic. I stop stirring the mac and cheese. What does that mean? It means we're doing adults only. No children. I let that sit for a second. You're saying Lily can't come. It's not personal, Jake. We just want a quiet evening. Last year was very stressful with the spill incident, and we'd like to avoid that kind of situation. For context, last Thanksgiving, Lily accidentally knocked over a bowl of cranberry sauce. It spilled on Mom's white tablecloth, the one she only brings out for holidays. Lily was devastated. She cried. I cleaned it up with paper towels while everyone sat there in silence like I'd committed a crime. We left 30 minutes later. The stain came out, by the way. I know because Mom sent me a text 2 days later complaining about it. I asked her, is Brandon's wife coming? Of course Vanessa is coming, but my daughter isn't. Vanessa is an adult, Jake. It's different. She's my kid, Mom. She's your granddaughter. And I love her very much. This isn't about love. This is about having a pleasant holiday. You understand. You can get a babysitter. Come by yourself. It'll be nice, just adults. Here's where I should tell you. I didn't yell. I didn't argue. I didn't beg. I just said, okay, thanks for letting me know. And I hung up at 7:31 p.m. Lily asked who was on the phone. I told her Grandma was planning Thanksgiving. She asked if we were going. I told her we were doing our own thing this year, just the two of us. She got excited, asked if we could have chicken nuggets with the turkey. I said absolutely. For the next 2 weeks, I didn't call my parents back. Didn't text. Nothing. Brandon called me on November 15th. Asked if I was coming to Thanksgiving like nothing had happened. Like Mom hadn't just uninvited my kid from a family holiday. I told him, Mom said it's adults only. Lily's not invited. Long pause. Then he laughed. Not a mean laugh. More like a confused one. Dude, you're taking this too seriously. She just wants a calm dinner. Just get a sitter. Come hang out. Is Vanessa coming? Obviously. Then it's not adults only. It's everyone except my daughter. Another pause. Look, man, she's 7. She's young. Maybe next year when she's older and can sit still for more than 5 minutes. I hung up on him at exactly 11:42 a.m. My hands were shaking. The thing about Brandon is he's never had to be the one left out. He's never had to explain to his kid why they're not wanted. He's never had to be the afterthought. He's the golden child. Always has been. Perfect grades, perfect job, perfect marriage. Meanwhile, I'm the screw-up who got his girlfriend pregnant at 24 and had to get married at City Hall instead of throwing some big wedding. Never mind that Jessica and I were actually happy. Never mind that we built a good life together. Never mind that I'm raising a kid solo after a tragedy. I decided right then I was making Thanksgiving for Lily. Just us. And it was going to be perfect. I went to the grocery store on November 20th. Not a big chain. There's this local butcher shop called Kowalski's on Jefferson Avenue that's been there since 1982. I bought a 12-pound fresh turkey for $47.88. I bought real butter, fresh herbs, good rolls from the bakery section. I bought ingredients for stuffing, mashed potatoes, green beans, cranberry sauce from scratch. I bought a pumpkin pie from the bakery across the street, the one with the blue awning where they know Lily's name because we go there for donuts on Saturdays. Total grocery bill, $168.34. I also bought decorations. Paper turkeys, an autumn leaf tablecloth, cloth napkins, a centerpiece with little plastic pilgrims, candles that smelled like cinnamon. I bought sparkling apple cider in a fancy glass bottle that cost $12.99. I wanted it to feel special. I wanted Lily to remember this. She helped me set the table the night before. She arranged the paper turkeys in a line. She folded the napkins into triangles, her tongue sticking out while she concentrated. She put the candles in the middle and asked if we could light them during dinner. I said absolutely. Thanksgiving morning, I got up at 5:47 a.m., put the turkey in the oven, set the timer, started peeling potatoes at the sink. The kitchen smelled like butter and herbs and everything good. Lily came downstairs around 8:30 a.m. in her pajamas. We watched the parade together on the couch. She pointed at every balloon and asked me what character it was. It was peaceful, easy, just us. At 11:04 a.m., my phone buzzed. Text from Brandon. Have a good day, man. Sorry you're not here. Mom's asking about you. I didn't reply. Here's where it gets good. At 12:37 p.m., my doorbell rang. I wasn't expecting anyone. Lily looked at me, confused. I went to the door. My cousin Rachel was standing there. She's 29, works as a paralegal downtown. She was holding a casserole dish covered in foil. Her husband Tom was behind her with a bottle of sparkling grape juice and a bag of rolls. She said, "We heard you were doing your own thing this year. Mind if we join?" I just stared at her for a second. How did you know? Brandon mentioned it, that you and Lily were staying home because of the whole adults-only thing. And Tom and I talked about it last night. We'd rather be here than listen to Vanessa talk about her trip to Vancouver for 3 hours while pretending that banning a 7-year-old from Thanksgiving is normal. I laughed. First time I'd laughed in weeks. Let them in. Tom asked if he could help with anything. I told him to open the sparkling juice and find glasses. Rachel asked Lily what she'd been coloring. Lily showed her the picture. A turkey, a house, some stick figures labeled me and Daddy and Aunt Rachel and Uncle Tom. At 1:15 p.m., the doorbell rang again. My Aunt Linda, Mom's sister. She's 58, works as a school nurse. She was holding a homemade apple pie in a glass dish. Her son Kevin was with her, carrying a bag of fresh rolls and a container of cranberry sauce. Linda said, "I heard what your mother did. I'm not sitting through another holiday pretending that woman's behavior is acceptable." She walked in without waiting for me to respond. Kevin squeezed my shoulder as he passed. Said, "Good to see you, man." By 1:47 p.m., I had 9 people in my house. Rachel and Tom, Linda and Kevin, my cousin Jenna and her girlfriend Amy, my uncle Paul, and a family friend named Beth, who'd heard through Jenna and just showed up with a green bean casserole. 9 people who chose to be there, who walked away from my parents' perfect adult dinner to sit in my cramped living room and eat off mismatched plates. We crammed around my small dining table, used folding chairs from the garage, knees touching, elbows bumping. Lily sat between Rachel and Jenna, absolutely glowing. She told stories about school, about her teacher, Miss Peterson, about her best friend Hannah who could do a cartwheel. She was the center of attention, and she loved every second of it. I carved the turkey at the table. The knife was sharp. The meat was tender. Perfect. That turkey I'd stressed over for hours? Golden brown, juicy, better than any turkey my mother had ever made. The stuffing had just the right amount of herbs. Sage, thyme, a little rosemary. The mashed potatoes were creamy with real butter and heavy cream. None of that instant box stuff. The green beans had bacon and caramelized onions. Linda's cranberry sauce had orange zest in it that made it pop. Rachel heated up her casserole in my oven. Sweet potato with a pecan crumble topping that smelled like heaven. Linda sliced her pie, the lattice crust perfect and golden. Tom poured sparkling juice for everyone, including Lily in a real wine glass with a napkin wrapped around the base like she was fancy. Kevin told Dad jokes that made everyone groan. Lily tried everything. She's normally picky, won't touch vegetables, turns her nose up at anything that looks weird. But she was so happy she tried foods she usually won't touch. Ate 3 helpings of stuffing, asked for seconds of mashed potatoes. Even tried the green beans and said they were actually pretty good, Daddy. We ate, we laughed, we told stories about past Thanksgivings. About the time Uncle Paul fell asleep at the table and started snoring so loud it woke him up. About the time someone's dog ate half the turkey before anyone noticed and everyone just pretended it was fine and ate around the missing section. About the time it snowed so hard everyone got stuck at Grandma's house for 2 days and played board games until midnight. Tom told a story about the first Thanksgiving he went to Rachel's parents' house and accidentally called her dad Greg for 4 hours. His name is Glenn. Everyone was too polite to correct him. He didn't find out until they were driving home and Rachel was crying from laughing so hard. Kevin told a story about the time he tried to deep fry a turkey in college and almost burned down his apartment building. Fire department came. He was banned from using the communal kitchen for the rest of the year. Beth, the family friend who'd just shown up, told us about her grandmother who used to make 7 different pies for Thanksgiving. 7. Apple, pumpkin, pecan, cherry, lemon meringue, chocolate cream, and something called mystery pie that no one could ever identify but everyone loved. She'd been trying to recreate that mystery pie recipe for 15 years. Still hasn't figured it out. Her theory is it had cardamom in it, but she's not sure. The conversations overlapped. People talked over each other. Lily's laugh cut through everything, high and clear and happy. She asked if we could do this every year. Rachel said absolutely. Kevin said he was already planning his dish for next year. Jenna said she'd bring her famous mac and cheese, the one with 4 different cheeses and a breadcrumb topping. This is what it was supposed to feel like. This is what family was supposed to be. Not silent dinners where you're afraid to laugh too loud. Not carefully curated gatherings where children are inconveniences. Not performances where everyone pretends to be happy. This. Chaos. Laughter. Food being passed. Someone spilling something and everyone helping clean it up without making it a big deal. Lily being herself without anyone telling her to be quiet or sit still or stop being so much. My phone buzzed at 2:34 p.m. Text from Brandon. Mom's asking if I've heard from you. She seems stressed. I didn't reply. Took another bite of turkey. At 2:51 p.m., another buzz. Brandon again. Dude, seriously, is everything okay? She's kind of freaking out. I typed back, everything's great here. 9 people. Best meal I've ever made. Everyone's happy. Tell mom thanks for the motivation. Read receipt showed he saw it at 2:53 p.m. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Disappeared. He never replied. At 3:04 p.m. my phone buzzed. Text from mom. Hope you're having a nice day. I stared at it. 6 words. That's all she could manage. 6 words that meant nothing. She wasn't actually hoping I was having a nice day. She was checking to make sure I wasn't making a scene. Making sure I was staying in line. Making sure I wasn't causing trouble. Making sure people weren't talking. At 3:17 p.m., another text. This one from Dad. Your mother is upset you're not here. You should call her. This is family. You're being selfish. I set the phone face down on the counter. Rachel noticed. Asked if I was okay. I told her it was just my parents checking in to make sure I knew they were disappointed. She said, they don't deserve you, Jake. You're a good dad. They can't see it. At 3:42 p.m., the doorbell rang again. I figured maybe it was another relative who'd heard. Maybe Kevin had texted someone. It was Brandon. He was standing on my porch in dress pants and a button-down shirt, hands in his pockets, looking uncomfortable. He said, Mom and Dad asked me to check on you. Make sure you weren't, quote, doing anything stupid. Why would they think I'm doing something stupid? He shrugged. Because you didn't answer their texts. Because half the family apparently bailed on dinner. Because Mom's freaking out that people are choosing you over her. How many people are at their house right now? I don't know. Maybe 4? 5? It's pretty dead, honestly. And how many people are here? He looked past me into the house. Saw the table. The people. The plates of food. The wine glasses. Lily laughing with Jenna in the background. Music playing from the speaker on the counter. How many people are here, Jake? 9. And every single one of them chose to be here. He didn't say anything. Just looked at me for a long moment. Then he nodded slowly, turned around, and walked back to his car. I watched him drive away at 3:51 p.m. Turns out, when you make people choose between a controlling parent and basic human decency, some of them surprise you. By 6:30 p.m., everyone had eaten seconds. Some people thirds. The food was gone. The dishes were piled in the sink. Lily and Kevin's daughter, Sophie, who'd arrived around 2 p.m., were playing in the backyard. We could hear them through the window, laughing and shrieking. The adults were in the living room, full and tired and happy. Someone had put music on. Old jazz. Miles Davis. Filled the space without demanding attention. At 6:47 p.m., my phone rang. Not a text. A call. From Mom. I excused myself, went into the kitchen, closed the door, answered. Her voice was sharp, angry. The anger of someone used to being obeyed, who suddenly isn't. Why is half the family at your house? Why did they choose you over us? You've ruined Thanksgiving. You've turned people against me. You're making me look bad. They wanted to be here, Mom. I didn't invite them. They came on their own. You're being childish. You're being petty. You're making a statement. You're punishing me for having boundaries. You called my daughter a distraction. You banned her from Thanksgiving. What did you think would happen? I was trying to have a nice dinner. A peaceful meal. I'm allowed to want that. You're overreacting. I'm not overreacting. Lily is my daughter. She's your granddaughter. And if she's not welcome at your table, then neither am I. You're making a scene. People are going to talk. This is embarrassing. The scene was made when you decided a 7-year-old child was too much trouble. When you chose your comfort over family. She started to say something. I didn't let her finish. I'm done, Mom. Done pretending the way you treat us is acceptable. Done being the dependable kid who never complains. Done letting you make Lily feel unwanted. We're done. I hung up at 6:53 p.m. My hands were shaking. My heart was pounding. But I also felt something else. Relief, like I'd finally said what needed to be said. I went back to the living room. Rachel looked at me. Didn't ask. Just smiled and patted the seat next to her. People started leaving around 10 p.m. Rachel hugged me tight, whispered, "You did the right thing." Linda kissed my cheek, said, "I'm proud of you. You're a good father." Kevin shook my hand, said, "Best Thanksgiving I've had in years, man." Jenna hugged Lily, told her she was amazing. By 11:14 p.m., the house was quiet. Lily was asleep on the couch. I carried her to bed. She mumbled something about pumpkin pie and Sophie. I tucked her in, kissed her forehead. I went back downstairs. The house was a mess. Plates everywhere. Crumbs on the floor. Wine glasses on the coffee table. Napkins crumpled. But it was a good mess. A lived-in mess. A mess that meant something. At 12:08 a.m., I heard a car pull up outside. I looked out the window. Recognized it immediately. My mother's silver Honda CR-V. I opened the door before she could knock. Didn't want her waking Lily. She was standing on the porch, eyes red and swollen. She'd been crying. Makeup smudged. She was holding something clutched to her chest. A photo album. One of the old ones with the fake leather cover. She didn't say anything at first. Just stood there. I asked what she was doing here. My voice was flat. Guarded. I needed to talk to you. I couldn't sleep. I had to come. It's past midnight, Mom. Lily's asleep. I don't want to do this now. I know. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Her voice cracked on the word sorry. I didn't move, didn't invite her in, just stood there blocking the doorway. She held out the album. Her hands were shaking. I've been looking through this tonight. After everyone left, after your father went to bed angry, after I sat alone in the kitchen and realized what I'd done, I waited. Didn't help her. I've been avoiding you, avoiding Lily, because every time I see her, I see Jessica, and it hurts so much I can't breathe. I don't know how to process that. My parents never taught me. They never talked about feelings. They just moved on. And I did the same thing. I pushed you away because it was easier than feeling the pain. She said she was wrong. Said she'd made a terrible mistake. Said she'd let her grief turn her into someone cruel. I took the album. My hands felt numb. Opened it slowly. It was full of pictures I'd never seen. Jessica at our wedding. Young and happy. Wearing a white sundress at City Hall because we couldn't afford anything fancy. Lily as a newborn. Tiny and red-faced. Jessica holding her in the hospital. Tears streaming down her face. Lily's first birthday. Lily at the beach. Lily at Christmas. Jessica and Lily together. Always together. Mom had kept every photo I'd ever sent her. I miss her every single day. I miss you. I've made a terrible mistake. I let my grief turn me into someone who hurt the people I love because I couldn't handle my own pain. I felt something shift inside me. The anger was still there, hard and cold. But underneath it was something else. Understanding, not forgiveness. Not yet, but understanding. Why didn't you just tell me? Why didn't you talk to me? I didn't know how. I was ashamed. I thought if I kept moving, kept going, kept pretending, it would get easier. But it never did. I asked if she meant what she said about Lily being a distraction. She shook her head, tears streaming. No. God number. I regret it. Every word. Lily is beautiful and bright and everything good. She reminds me of Jessica in the best way. And that's what scared me. That's what made me push you away. I told her it was going to take time. That I couldn't just forget. That Lily deserved better. That she deserved grandparents who loved her without conditions. She nodded. Said she understood. Said she would do whatever it took. However long it took. Said she wanted to be the grandmother Lily deserved. I asked if she wanted to come in. She hesitated. Looked past me into the house. At the mess. At the evidence of the day. Then nodded. We sat in the living room. The mess still everywhere. Plates on the coffee table. Forks with bits of food stuck to them. Napkins crumpled. Wine glasses with lipstick marks. The candles had burned down to stubs. She looked around. Took it all in. The evidence of the day. The proof that people had chosen me over her. She said it looked like people had a good time. Her voice was small, quiet, not the sharp, controlled voice I was used to. I told her they did, that it was the best Thanksgiving I'd had in years. That Lily was happy. That people showed up for us. That 9 people walked away from her dinner to be here instead. She nodded. Said she deserved that. Said she knew why they left. I've been a terrible mother to you. A terrible grandmother to Lily. I know that now. I didn't disagree. She continued. When Jessica died, I didn't know how to process it. My parents never taught me how to grieve. When my brother died in 1987, my father said, "Life goes on," and that was it. We never talked about him again. His pictures came down from the walls. His room got cleaned out. We just moved forward like he never existed. I thought that's what you were supposed to do. So you did the same thing to us. Yes, and it was wrong. It was so wrong. Every time I saw Lily, I saw Jessica's eyes, Jessica's smile, Jessica's energy, and it hurt so much I couldn't breathe. So I avoided you both. I told myself it was because I was giving you space, because you needed time to heal. But that was a lie. I was the one who couldn't handle it. We talked for 87 minutes. I checked my watch when she left. 87 minutes of things we should have said 3 years ago. She told me about the day Jessica died, about how she got the call from me at the hospital, about how she dropped the phone, about how she sat on her kitchen floor and couldn't move for an hour, about how Dad found her there and didn't know what to say, about how they drove to the hospital in silence, about how they saw me holding Lily in the waiting room, my face blank with shock, about how they wanted to help but didn't know how, about how they went home that night and never talked about it again. We failed you. We failed Lily. We failed Jessica's memory. I see that now. About the years I'd spent feeling invisible. About showing up for every call, every favor, every emergency. About the 214 hours in my spreadsheet. About Brandon being the golden child while I was the afterthought. About Lily crying because she thought her grandparents didn't like her. She cried through most of it. Real crying. Not delicate tears. Ugly crying. The kind where your face gets blotchy and your nose runs and you can't catch your breath. She said she wanted to try. To be better. To be present. To be the grandmother Lily deserved. To make up for lost time. To rebuild what she'd broken. To earn her way back into our lives. I told her it was going to take time. That I couldn't just forget what she said. What she did. That Lily deserved better than to be treated like an inconvenience. That she deserved grandparents who loved her without conditions. That words weren't enough. That she had to prove it. That she had to show up. Consistently. Not just when it was convenient. She said that was fair. Said she deserved nothing less. Said she would do whatever it took. However long it took. She left at 1:35 a.m. I watched her car pull away. I sat there for a long time, staring at the photo album, thinking about everything. About Jessica, about Lily, about my mother standing on my porch crying, about the years of distance, about the hurt, about the possibility of something different. The anger was still there, but it was quieter now, manageable. Update, 6 months later. A lot of people have messaged asking what happened after. Here's the breakdown. My mother called the next day, asked if she could come over, bring Lily a gift. I said yes, but told her she was apologizing to Lily face to face. She agreed immediately. She showed up at 2:17 p.m. the next day with a book, a story about a grandmother and granddaughter baking together. Lily loved it. Read it 4 times that week. Mom sat down with Lily at the kitchen table, looked her right in the eyes, said, "I'm sorry I haven't been a good grandma. I'm sorry I made you feel like you weren't important. You are the most important thing. I promise to do better." Lily hugged her. Just like that. Kids are better at forgiveness than adults. My father came over eventually too. Brought Lily a stuffed turkey. She named it Gobbles. He didn't say much, but he showed up. That was something. Brandon apologized. Said he didn't realize how bad it had gotten. Said he should have stood up for me. I told him he still could. He's been better since. Still the golden child, but at least he calls now. Vanessa never apologized. Don't expect her to. Don't care. Rachel and I started a new tradition. Thanksgiving at my house. Open to anyone who wants to come. No conditions, no exclusions, just food and family and love. First year after that, 15 people. Second year, 22. We had to set up tables in the living room and dining room. Ran out of chairs. People sat on the floor. It was chaos. It was loud. It was perfect. My mother shows up now. Every time. She comes to Lily's school plays, her soccer games, her birthday parties. She brings gifts. She asks questions. She listens. She's learning. She's trying. And that's enough. In March, she showed up to Lily's spring concert. Front row, holding flowers, Lily sang that same butterfly song, and Mom cried through the whole thing. Took about 200 photos on her phone, sent them all to me with captions like, "My beautiful granddaughter," and "So proud." In June, she asked if Lily could have that sleepover she'd wanted. Lily spent the night at their house. They made chocolate chip cookies, watched movies. Mom braided Lily's hair. When I picked her up the next morning, Lily talked about it for 3 days. In August, Grandparents' Day at school happened. This time, both my parents showed up, sat in those tiny chairs, read books with the kids, participated in crafts. Mom has a framed picture from that day on her mantle now. Her and Lily holding construction paper turkeys they made together. Dad comes too, plays cards with Lily, teaches her chess, shows up. The relationship isn't perfect. We still have hard days, days when old wounds open. But we keep showing up. We keep trying. Brandon and Vanessa still go to fancy dinners and take trips. Still live their perfect life. But now they also come to our chaotic Thanksgivings. Vanessa even complimented my turkey last year. Only took her 3 years. Lily is 9 now. She's happy. She knows she's wanted. She knows she's loved. She has grandparents who show up, aunts and uncles and cousins who choose her. As for me, I'm good. Still working as an electrician. Still living in the same house. Still raising my kid. But I'm not the dependable one anymore. I'm not the backup plan. I'm not the guy who shows up and gets nothing in return. YouTube just dropped this new hype feature. If you're hooked on this story, smash that hype button. It tells YouTube this video deserves to blow up, and it keeps even crazier stories coming your way.